I presume you want to read more and more often and more consistently, right? But for example, you might be struggling to focus. Maybe you start reading and your mind wanders away, or you just grab your phone. So it's very important maybe at the beginning to try to get your phone away from you and try to find a particular time in the day that is for reading. It could be like 5 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes in the evening. Start small. Just start small. Have realistic goals, okay? Don't start with like, I'm gonna read one book a day. You might not be able to. Your mind might struggle because this is something new. So you might struggle with just focusing on the words, okay? Say that you're gonna read 1 page per day. And remember, your goal here is not to read the book fast. Your goal here is just to read, okay? Just to read words on the page. Doesn't matter what it is. Just try to read 5 minutes a day or 1 page, and you will see that first time you might even struggle to finish that 1 page. Second day you will already read it faster, and so on and so on. If that doesn't work for you so much, then maybe you can skip a day, or maybe you can say Friday night. Try once per week. If every day a little doesn't work, try once per week, for example, for 1 hour. The thing is that you shouldn't put too much expectation on yourself since the beginning. You just have to start with the very little steps, and you will feel like you have no progress at first. You'll see, oh, I've read like 5 pages in 5 days, but you will see that the more you do it, more pages you will read. For example, if you read 1 page the first day, 2 pages the second day, and so on and so on and so on, until the story grabs you. The moment the story grabs you, the moment you get interested in what you're reading, you're gonna get faster. You can try reading different kinds of books. For example, you can pick a small book like in the genre you like. For example, there are now a lot of fantasy standalones that are very short. There are crime, mystery, romance, whatever you like. Just pick a smaller book, and that might feel like less overwhelming, and you will read it faster, and you will feel like you have achieved something by finishing 1 book. Like when you finish your first book, the second will be much easier, and then you can say, okay, this book, I don't know, has 300 pages and I'm gonna read like 10 pages per day, so in 1 month you can finish it. Okay, that is one thing. There is another thing that is a bit controversial, but you can try it, and that's it. Read a very big book. Okay, just start with something enormous. I know it sounds strange and scary. Think about it like that. You have this very big book, which means that you know that you're going to read it for a very long time, and you're focused only on one story, and you're focused only on those characters, because when you start to read a story, there is some effort there. You have to learn about the world, you have to learn about the characters, and if you keep switching books, that means that you meet new people, new worlds, new characters. But if you read one book consistently for a long time, it keeps you reading for a long time, you know? Because if you read this shorter book, you will finish it faster, but then you have to immediately start the next one. If you pause, you might kind of go back to your non-reading habits, you know? Because habits are hard to change. But if you have a very long book and you are committed to it, you might actually sustain your reading habit for longer. I know it sounds strange, but try it out. Just try it out. Maybe start with the shorter book. And then if you successfully finish it, then start the big one and see how it goes. And also, once you finish the big book, this will look like nothing. You know, once you read something like this, any other book will feel like a piece of cake to you. Another thing, if you really cannot focus, just try comic books, mangas, graphic novels. If you like Star Wars, like me, you can buy something in this universe because it's more visual, it's more easy to read. Or you can try reading nonfiction. Why not? For example, you can pick a book dedicated to something you like. For example, interior design, or I don't know, spaceships, whatever. Here we have pictures, right? But we also have text. So as long as you kind of read something that interests you, that keeps your attention, that's important. You can also try maybe reading a book that is based on a movie that you already know. For example, a lot of movies have book versions, novelization. You can try that. What this gonna help you is you already know the story, you already know the characters, and the book usually kind of expands on that. You already know that you like it, you know, you don't risk not liking it. You're already interested in this world, and it's very important that you're interested in what you're reading. We're gonna go back to that point later. Another way is to try audiobooks. just listen to them while you do something else, like while you do the dishes, and maybe listen to a few chapters. Once you are really invested in the story, once you really want to know what's going to happen next, then pick the book and keep reading. Because once you're invested in the story, once you've already listened to half of it, and then you start reading it, that curiosity, that interest you have in the story will keep you going. But audiobooks still, I think, count as reading, of course. But if you just really want, the experience with the book, like you read, you focus on it, just try to switch between audiobook and reading. Another thing that might help you a lot is buddy read. Just read with somebody else. Like you and your friend, I don't know, pick one book, read it together and discuss it. That will give you some extra motivation to keep reading, because then you have the reward of it. The reward will being you're gonna talk with somebody about it. If you don't have friends who want to read with you, then you can just join some online group. There are so many Discords, reading groups. Just Google it, or go here on YouTube. A lot of the bigger booktubers, they have Discord channels. Just join them. There are so many opportunities to find people to read with you. Don't worry. Even if the people in your surrounding don't want to read, there are plenty of people on the internet who do. So just go and find them, Google them. It's not so hard. Another thing you can try is, like, if you really struggle to focus, if your mind constantly is going different direction, just try to read out loud. I know it might be weird at first, but just try it. Just pick a book and try to read out loud. Maybe you can just play around with it, like try to imitate the voices. The important thing is to focus on the book. I think that's what we lack the most nowadays, is focus. And reading requires a bit of focus, because, for example, when you watch TV, you can just space out for a bit, but when you read, you cannot space out, you have to read, right? It does require more focus, but that's the good part. It helps you be more focused, more in the moment. It really helps your brain, okay? So yeah, try reading out loud. Try reading to yourself. Try playing around with it. Also, you can try to really immerse yourself, like dress up in your favorite comfortable clothes, make yourself tea, make reading like a ritual. Like if you cannot read every day, that's fine, but let's say Sunday afternoon, you make yourself your favorite snack, you make some tea or coffee, you find a corner of your house where nobody was going to disturb you, and you really stay there for 1 hour. Also, one thing that can help you is maybe combine reading and writing, in the sense that you can have a diary, like a reading diary, a reading notebook, where you like read something and then maybe comment on it. Like, today I read this what happened, and you maybe gather your thoughts about this book. Maybe if you like drawing, you can draw some illustrations from those books, even if they don't have to be beautiful, but you should just engage more with what you do, engage more with reading. And keeping a diary will you can flip back and forward, see your progress. You can also write down how many pages you have read. Just remember not to put too high expectations on yourself. The most important thing is for you to find a story or a book that interests you, okay? That's the most important thing. And sometimes you might think that, I don't know, you like fantasy, and you might think, oh, I'm gonna read the most popular fantasy book right now because that's what I like. But then you struggle with it. Not always the most popular books are the books for you. Try different genres. Keep experimenting. For example, for me, I was trying to go back into reading. I bought a lot of fantasy books, and I was just struggling to decide which one to start. I would read one page and then another, and I just couldn't focus on any of those books. There's too much choice, and I couldn't pick one. Like, that's another problem right now. We have too much choice. And then I bought a historical novel. I didn't know anything about it, but I saw some good reviews and I read it, and I found it quite interesting. I was learning new things about this time period, and suddenly I was reading it because it was interesting. It was something I didn't know much about. So experiment. You never know what's gonna grab you. You never know what is gonna be that story that kind of interests you. You might have a favorite genre, but maybe something outside of your genre has character or a theme or anything that might actually interests you. So the more you experiment, the bigger the chance that you're gonna find that one book that really interests you and grabs you. Another thing you can try is reread a book you've read long ago. For example, I don't know, you really liked Harry Potter. Go back and read Harry Potter. Why not? It's going to be easier for you to go back to something you've already liked. You will rediscover things you have forgotten. It will give you this nice sense of nostalgia. Maybe you read your first Harry Potter when you were 15, I don't know, and now you're 25 or 35 or whatever. Rereading that will give you this sense of comfort, and will be kind of, and it will be nice for you. Yeah, you will know what will happen, but sometimes that's helpful. Another thing, maybe try some classics. Sometimes people think classics are old or they're not very relatable, but those books are classics for a reason. They're very well written. Usually they have very interesting themes. So those books are good books. Go and try the classics maybe. So let's summarize everything. What you have to do is, first of all, experiment with different genres and different formats. Try to read shorter books, but also maybe try to read a bigger book. The more you learn about yourself, like what you like, you don't like, the faster you can find the best method for you. If you get more satisfaction from finishing things, then maybe it's nice for you to read shorter stories so you can have more accomplishments and that can keep you going. But if you like to immerse yourself into a world, to spend a long time with some characters, then maybe a long books or long series can be better for you, because then they will keep your attention for longer. The way you like to consume movies or other media might be a clear indication what can work for you in book form. Okay, so that's it. So let me know if any of this is helpful. Let me know if you have any other tips for going back into reading. And if this video was helpful for you, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Bye.